Over the past decade, there has been a new wave of Christian artists looking to push the boundaries of what worship music could be. These people have written beautiful songs that defy genre and tradition, yet are so clearly imbued with the writer's pain, passion, and overwhelming love for Christ. Some are like beautiful poetry that fill you with a sense of wonder. Others are eclectic and weird, and they make you question the world around you. The Rush lies somewhere between these two extremes. King's Kaleidoscope, a band known for their bizarre fusion of orchestral, hip-hop, and rock, recently released The Rush alongside their latest album, Zeal. The Rush is a sweeping movement of 3 individual songs, and is by far the most creative piece of Christian media I have ever listened to. It tells an important story of reconnecting with God, what it means to live in the secular world, and our future if we continue to follow Him. Today, I would like to pull back the curtain and explore that story with you. So, without further ado, let us begin. Right away, the song pulls you in with an explosion of sound and color. With no words, this opening conveys a feeling of weightlessness, which will be important to remember later on. Now, like any good story, we need characters to help guide us through this unfamiliar world, and it is here that we are introduced to 2. The singer, who I have aptly named Gardner after the lead singer Chad Gardner, and of course, God. Now, it is important to mention that in The Rush, God is represented by a consistent, looping melody. This sound represents God's presence, and when God is speaking with Gardner.
Chasing, the shadow, wasting, the battle, changing, the channel. Now all the fuss is just fade without the rush.
Right away, it's obvious that God is having a conversation with Gardner, reminding him of a time where he once worshipped in Him, and what a wonderful and joyous time it was.
Remember what it felt like to believe. Remember running wild and living free. Remember when the magic was a mystery. Now all the fuss is just faith without the rush.
But then God says, this line is the crucial midpoint of the song, because in 5 words God says, "Do not claim that I abandoned you. I have always been here for you. You are the one who has abandoned me." As Christians, we all struggle with keeping our faith strong and grounded. There are times where our faith is tested, and unfortunately, we deem other things more important than God. But what baffles me is that every time He still pursues us and offers us a choice to come back to Him, so that He may take us up into His arms and open our hearts to His love. In the same way, He offers Gardner this choice. But between you and me, with how God words it, I don't think it's an offer Gardner can refuse. Gardner accepting the Lord's offer, the 2 of them dance together, a joyous reunion between God and His creation. Their voices intermingling as one, the King of all kings and the embodiment of mankind sing in praise and worship together. And just when it feels like things can't get any better, the celebration suddenly ends. Like the story of Jesus walking on water and Peter sinking into the waves, Gardner is abruptly taken away from his dance with God and drawn back down to reality. Where there was once an explosion of light and color, now there is only darkness, and that is represented here by an auditory silence. This is where we enter part 2 of The Rush. And though it only lasts for a moment, this silence feels deafening. It reminds me of waking up from a crazy dream and in the quiet of your own room, wondering if anything you just experienced was real. Though no words are spoken, it's easy to understand that Gardner feels the same way. I just had an encounter with God, or so I am led to believe. And he asked me to rekindle my faith. It was so easy to say yes when he was right there in front of me. But now I'm not so sure. Did I really see the man upstairs? Or was it all just a dream? If part 1 represents what heaven must feel like, then part 2 most certainly is earth. Not once can God's presence be felt. His melody is absent from this entire piece. And I think that is intentional. His silence spawns doubt in those who believe in him. We mistake the silence for absence of a divine creator, and in turn we gravitate more to the physical things in our lives and begin worshiping them instead. But going back to the song, not only do I see it as a man waking up from a vision sent by God, I also see it as a test. Once again, Gardner is given a choice to either forsake his doubt and believe in God again, or to go back to living his normal life. Like dawn light streaming through a window, music quietly breaks the silence. As the sound grows louder, it's as if all of creation is waking up to hear Gardner's answer. The music moves and builds. A decision has been made. But what did Gardner choose to do? He chose to pray.
Waking up to face the haze of apathy. Show me every grace I lost the fight to see. I'm coming around, remedy the piece of faith that broke in me. Take away the weight and flip the gravity. I'm leaving the ground, oh, jumping from jaded heights. I see a rainbow off in a distant sky. You set a table, I need to taste again. Savor and tremble, take me to where you are, burn in me, burn in me.
With passion and power in his voice, Gardner praises the Lord with every fiber of his being. He has made his choice. He has found his purpose, and he knows where he is going. While the story could end there, and it would be a good ending if it did, we still have one final part to explore. Once again, the scene is wiped away between songs, but this time, Gardner's voice remains, and he is not alone. Our main character isn't the only one waking up and renewing their faith. It seems like the entire church is rising up with one goal in mind: to reach the kingdom of God.
Hey, come, we're casting away into the night. Sinners with sight onto the light. So red, sail onto the dawn, forever free. Where the heavens bend and bleed, where the saints and angels sing, onto the throne of the King of all kings.
With one final push, they are free from the atmosphere. No longer can they feel the gravity of earth. No longer can they feel sin dragging them down. They are free from the noise, and God's voice reigns clear and true. They worship the Lord, the King of all kings, all the way to his front door. And that was The Rush, the most creative piece of Christian media I have ever listened to. While the music tells a story of Gardner's personal faith journey, so often we find ourselves in Gardner's shoes. Sure, not all of us will receive a vision straight from the hand of God, but all of us struggle with our faith and worshiping a being that we don't often see. So let these songs stand as a reminder that God will always be there for you. Let it excite you for what lies beyond this plane of existence. And lastly, let it compel you to pour your imagination and passion into something that honors God, as it has for me.